In a world where the people are watched over, who watches The Watchmen? DC has recently released its first chapter of its brand new animated adaptation based on the iconic 12-issue comic book series, The Watchmen, originally created by Alan Moore back in 1986. This adaptation of The Watchmen covers issues 1 through 5 of the original 12 comic book issue series. Watchmen Chapter 1 follows Rorschach, a detective vigilante, in a world where dressing up and playing hero is now against the law for various of reasons, not as if they had superpowers in the first place. Upon discovering the recent demise of a former ally of his, Rorschach embarks on a mission and makes it his duty to unravel the mystery behind the killer's identity and what their motives were, while also uncovering who could possibly be next on this killer's target list. Now, you might be wondering, how did this film do compared to the Zack Snyder film that came out back then? I can honestly say they're both the same really, with the only differences possibly being the ending of each film, because as we all know, Zack Snyder changed the ending from the comic book series in his film. I will also say it's not really fair to compare them, only because there's only one Watchmen story to adapt. It's not like Marvel and regular DC stories where their universe gets rebooted every so often or new writers come in. You know, there's only one version, or there's only one story, one beginning, middle, and end to The Watchmen. In order to prepare for Watchmen Chapter 1's movie, I had went back and reread the original comic book series, and I gotta say, as far as adaptation goes, Watchmen Chapter 1 did not disappoint. It's actually a treat to fans everywhere. Although they did take heavy inspiration with this art style from Marvel's What If animated series, DC manages to make it work in its own way. Everything from the camera angles to the coloring, the lighting, the mood and vibe, and even the dialogue itself was stripped straight out of the comic book page. It's almost as if this was a love letter towards Alan Moore and his creation. Throughout this movie, while watching it, you could just see the love and passion both the voice actors and the cast and the people behind the movie just put into this movie. While watching this movie, you could just tell that everybody behind it, cast and crew, really loved what they were adapting. They really knew what they were doing, and they're going strong about it. Everything was well lit. The action scenes were great, everything was voice acted really well, and the tone and vibes were also great. You could see this through all of the characters as they're old, washed up heroes, you know, they're shells of them former selves, and Rorschach's the only one trying to keep everything together, but nobody seems to care. And you get to see this throughout the movie as we get flashbacks of them. You get to see who they are, where they come from, and why and how they think the way that they do. And my favorite parts of the movie particularly were the scenes with Dr. Manhattan, which I won't spoil for those who haven't watched it yet. Now, with this being said, this adaptation is nearly perfect, and here's why. Sometimes the movie felt a little rushed, especially with the dialogue. There were certain scenes where two characters were talking in a conversation, and it didn't feel like a natural conversation between two voice actors. Instead, it just felt like they were kind of reading off of a script and they were trying to hurry up and sync their voice to their animated characters' lips. Throughout the film, it does get better. This only really happens in the beginning, but that was just the only minor thing that threw things off for me slightly. Other than that, it's a perfect film, and hopefully they fix this, rush-paced dialogue in the sequel film. With that being said, overall, I give Watchmen Chapter 1 a 9 out of 10, only because things felt rushed in the beginning, but got better over time. I highly recommend you go watch this film. It's streaming on Max or whatever other streaming device you could find. You could watch it on that too. And yeah, really good adaptation. One of the best adaptations of all time that I've seen so far from an animated movie anyway. That's about all I have to say for this review. Let me know what you guys think in the comment below. What worked for you, what didn't work for you about this movie? How did you feel about this adaptation wise? Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you could be notified when I make new content. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.